Hi, I'm Alyssa Nadworny, and this is NPR's Book of the Day. Imagine this. You and your best friend on a road trip, going to as many sporting events as possible. Football, basketball, dart tournaments, WrestleMania, exploring fandom in all of its forms. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, it's exactly what sports reporter Joe Posnanski and Michael Schur, the TV writer behind Parks and Rec and The Good Place, did. And the result is their book called Big Fan, which celebrates people and the things they really love all across America. They talked with NPR's Scott Simon about the book and all the fun they had writing it.
This message comes from Progressive Insurance. Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Support for this podcast and the following message come from Wayfair. Outdoor seating, grills, decor, patio lighting, and more. Wayfair is your one-stop shop for home. Wayfair also offers installation and assembly services for a truly seamless experience. They deal with the hard parts so you don't have to. Patio season is here. Head to wayfair.com to get your outdoor space ready for way less. That's WAYFAIR.com. This message comes from Grainger. This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know, big fans can get a bad rap. Billions of us blend into everyday life, but then we think of, football fans are stripped to the waist in 0-degree weather, clad just in streaks of paint in their team colors, cheering, crying, hoping, praying, shouting to the heavens in exultation, despair, or anxiety. Let's ask Joe Posnanski to read the dedication to the new book he's written with Michael Schur, Big Fan.
This book is for everyone who has ever sat or stood alone or with 50,000 other people at home or at a friend's house or in a stadium wearing a lucky hat or jersey or T-shirt and looked at the score and checked the clock or the inning and closed their eyes and clenched their hands and clutched their head and thought, please, just this one time, I'll never ask for anything ever again. Please, please, please.
Joe Posnanski is a best-selling author and sports reporter, often named Sportswriter of the Year. Michael Schur is a television writer and producer behind The Good Place, Parks and Rec, and more. Their book, Big Fan, Two Friends, 82,490 miles in the wild, wonderful sports we love. Joe Posnanski and Michael Schur join us from St. Louis. Thanks both very much for being with us.
Thanks, Scott.
Our pleasure.
Why do you say that a Buffalo Wild Wings restaurant in Dallas is the most American place in all the land?
Well, when we started this book, we wanted to cover a lot of different sports, and we knew we had to cover American football because it's the dominant sport in this country. And Joe said, we should go to the most American place in the world, which is the Buffalo Wild Wings. Like, that's how fans watch football. And we went to the closest one, and we sat there for 8 hours and watched football without a break for the entire day.
Fans from every team was represented, and you could tell what team they were rooting for because every other person other than us in there was wearing a football jersey.
As you note in this book, the defining feature about fandom is we are powerless, aren't we?
Yeah, that's part of the appeal, for sure. We talked to a professor named Daniel Wan, who teaches at Murray State and has been investigating academically the concept of fandom for a very long time. And he said that one of the key aspects of fandom is that we are risking a little bit of our emotional and psychological health on something over which we have no control, and that it's a little bit of gambling in a way on our happiness. And That's what makes it thrilling. It's also what makes it crushing and disappointing at times. But without that sense of powerlessness, you don't get the same roller coaster.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that we slightly disagreed with Professor Wan on was that it was only a little bit of our emotional. Like, so many of us, Scott, you've been a Cubs fan forever. That I mean, the amount of emotional pain that
just
you've had
since
to endure,
1908. Go ahead. Yeah.
what it felt like in 2016 when they finally win it. That's at the heart of what we were looking for.
Tell us, please, about the World Darts Championship at what's called the Alley Pally in London. I gather it looked a little like Halloween night.
Yes. So this is the way this book came about. Was a friend of mine sent me a video from the World Darts Championship. And what I watched was two sort of stone-faced, stocky Brits throw darts at a dartboard from 8 feet away. Behind them, in this enormous arena, thousands of people are losing their minds, like dumping beer on each other's heads and throwing napkins in the air with every toss. And also I noticed they were all in costume. They were dressed up like Harry Potter or the Jamaican bobsled team or some other crazy costume. And I thought, like, this is an event I've never heard of. I don't know really what's happening, but I suddenly got the urge to investigate them and the concept of fandom. And as I had that idea, I thought, well, I've got to do this with Joe. He's been my friend for 20 years. We are obsessed with sports to the same degree, more or less. Our first big trip was that we went to the World Darts Championship at the Alexandria Palace in London, and it was every bit as insane as it appeared to be on that video.
You did see a great darts champion do something amazing, didn't you?
We did. We saw Luke Littler, become the very first. I mean, he was 17, although he looked 58. But he was 17 years old, and he won the World Darts Championship, and it was quite amazing. I mean, everything about the whole experience was truly incredible, and it also was, not coincidentally, by far the most alcohol per capita of any fan sport that we've ever been to, which is quite incredible because, fans can drink a little bit. Basically, at the World Darts Championship, they sell pitchers of beer. And from what I could tell, there was not a single glass in the entire place. So that's the kind of consumption we were talking about. But it was amazing. And then the surroundings were unreal.
Yeah. Let me ask you about chess fans. Are they necessarily less, I say this respectfully, crazed?
Just a little bit less crazed. Chess is a quote-unquote spectator sport where the spectators are not allowed anywhere near the actual tournament because the players demand complete silence. So you have to watch it on a television across the street, and there's somebody that has to explain to you what each move represents. But yet, even there, you could sort of feel the connection to what it is that people are rooting for. They're rooting for, of course, their favorite player, but they're also rooting for like a moment. Sometimes there's a move that is so brilliant, it is just like watching, Steph Curry make a 40-foot shot or watching, Shohei Ohtani hit a home run. To them, they get that same emotion out of it, but it is very quiet.
Let me ask you both a question we probably wouldn't ask somebody who was a fan of opera or classical music or live drama. Are our lives, your lives, richer for being fans?
For sure they are. Are our lives richer? Oh, 100%. I mean, that's one of the things that when we were talking to Professor Wan of Murray State, I had at one point said something to him that I've thought about from time to time, which was, would my life be better if instead of being a fan of a specific team in any given sport, I were simply a fan of the sport? And he said, absolutely not. He came down on me like a hammer and said, look, if you had never been in love with anyone, there would have been fewer days when you were sad or felt grief or pain. But there would also be far fewer days where you felt the greatest heights of joy and exhilaration. And the same is true of fandom of anything. These things that we loan our passion to, those things provide for us something that nothing else can provide, which is those moments, those highs, the Cubs winning in 2016, the Red Sox winning in 2004, for Joe, the Cleveland Cavaliers winning in 2016. these moments are irreplaceable and they're non-repeatable. You can't find them anywhere else. And so I've devoted most of my life to sports fandom and fandom of a number of other things. And I can't imagine what my life would be without that fandom.
Michael Schur and Joe Posnanski, their book, Big Fan, Two Friends, 82,490 miles in the wild, wonderful sports we love. Gentlemen, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Scott.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
And just a quick reminder that signing up for Book of the Day Plus is a great way to support NPR's book coverage and public media. And you'll get to listen to every episode sponsor-free. So please go find out more at plus.npr.org/Book of the Day.
This message comes from Capella University. That spark you feel? That's your drive for more. Capella University's FlexPath learning format lets you earn your degree at your pace without putting life on pause. Learn more at capella.edu.
This message comes from Thumbtack. Recommendations can be great. Maybe someone recommended this podcast, and here you are. But home projects are different. If a podcast isn't your thing, you lose a few minutes. If you hire your cousin's neighbor to mount your TV, you might end up with a lopsided screen and wall damage. That's why Thumbtack works. It matches people with top-rated local pros with photos, reviews, and credentials all in one place. For your next home project, try Thumbtack. Hire the right pro today.
On All of It with me, Allison Stewart, we'll talk about art, music, theater, literature, history, food. Well, all of it. Hear in-depth, insightful interviews with authors like Zadie Smith, musicians like Steve Earle, actors like Kate Winslet, and beyond. That's All of It, available wherever you get your podcasts.